Hello, everyone. The topic for today is paying for college. Right now, I want you to pause the video so you can copy down your notes and then resume when you're ready. There are many different ways to pay for college. We're just going to highlight some of the more common ones today. First is savings, where people have money set aside. A lot of people nowadays have a savings account that is designated as a college savings fund. Student loans is probably the most popular way that people pay for college, in which you borrow money and it has to be used for education, and that has to be repaid after you're finished with school, and there's usually some interest charges that are applied to that. A grant, that's an award from a nonprofit organization that does not need to be paid back. A scholarship, well, that's an award for good performance, and it also does not require repayment. One of the things that I like to point out for this is scholarships are not only for athletics. There are scholarships for just about anything you can think of. There are scholarships for good grades. There are scholarships for fine arts like theater. There are scholarships for band instruments. There are all kinds of scholarships for families with military history. There are scholarships based on your ethnic backgrounds. There is a laundry list of things that can help you pay for college. And there's also a work-study program, and that is something where you're essentially working for the university in some capacity, and in exchange for money, they are paying for your college tuition. Looking at some example problems, let's look at number 7, where it says Jessica wants to go to a 2-year community college with an annual tuition of $9,890. Jessica has saved $8,350 for college, and she earned a grant for $3,400 for her first year. How much more does she need to pay the tuition for both years? Well, the first thing we need to do is figure out how much that tuition is going to be over 2 years. So we need to multiply $9,890 by 2 to give us the amount of the tuition amount for both years. After we do that, we get $19,780. Well, that's how much she owes for those 2 years. She saved $8,350, so we can subtract that. She has a remaining balance of $11,430, and then she got a grant for $3,400. So after we take that out, she owes $8,030. So that is our correct answer. Looking at number 8, which statement is not true about using a student loan or a scholarship to pay a student's remaining amount of tuition? A student loan must be repaid, usually with interest. That is a true statement. To get a scholarship, you must apply and satisfy certain requirements. That is also a true statement. A scholarship must be repaid, but without interest. That is not a true statement. And lastly, it is easier to apply for and obtain a loan than a scholarship. Depending on the level of scholarship, you can make the argument that they're not that difficult to apply for, but to receive the scholarship, well, that's a selection process that the school decides on their own. However, I do want to make it known that if you do get a scholarship for a certain thing, we'll use sports as the example. Say you got a scholarship to play soccer at school, at a university, and you get there, and a couple years later you decide, soccer's just not my thing. I'm not enjoying it anymore. I don't want to play anymore. Well, whatever balance was paid with the scholarship, you do not have to repay that. However, if you want to stay in school there at that same university, well, now you're going to be a paying customer. You're going to have to pay whatever the tuition is for the remaining years of your college career. So if you decide that you want to go back on whatever scholarship you were offered, well, they won't make you repay it, but they will make you start paying whatever that tuition is. I want you to answer questions 9 and 10. Bring those answers along with any questions that you may have with you to class tomorrow.